Frankie Joe, Lisa, Bryce, Timothy, lots of people. Love it. I would read all your names, but I can't read all the names. My eyesight's not so good. But welcome, Al. Awesome. Bobby, Brad. Appreciate you all being here tonight. Really excited. It's just a real honor to be able to provide this in support of MnFIRE. You all know MnFIRE, of course. John, appreciate that. Yeah, get that camera figured out so I can see your shiny, beautiful face there. There you go. There we go. You got it. He's probably not listening to me right now, but that's all right. Awesome. We're gonna get started in just a second. Let me know in the chat box, or if your video's on, give me a thumbs up. Can you see me okay? Awesome. John, appreciate it. Al, can you see me okay, sir? Ben, awesome, Al. Ben quickly flipped off his camera. Oh, he's back on. He can see me too. Todd, I like that. Okay. Awesome. Eric, appreciate it. And you can hear me, you can see me. Awesome. We are going to be uploading a recipe that goes with the theme of tonight here shortly. So you will have that. We're going to get started in just a second. People are trickling in here. Awesome. Brad's patiently waiting. We heard this was the best webinar at 6:30 on Thursday night, sponsored by MnFIRE. Here, that was the best one, and he's right here. He's correct. This is going to be good. I'm curious, while we're letting the rest of the folks trickle in here, how many of you are firefighters in the metro area? Give me a sign. However you want to do that.
Todd.
Awesome. Okay. All right. How about how many of you are Greater Minnesota? Give me a sign. Victoria, Santi, Bobby, appreciate that. Laura, awesome. Cool. All right. I think we're gonna get started.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to. I'm curious. How many of you were in the first session that we did back on, I believe, the 13th of August? Handful of you. Let us know. We're just kind of getting our camera angle set up here. You got recording. Awesome. You were awesome. Bobby was. Yes. Lucas, Ben, fantastic. Well, as we introduced in the beginning of this series, we're doing a 5-part series. And the whole purpose of this is to help all of you, just continue to give you support and tools and nuggets, insights to help you continue to be safer on the job, more pain-free the next day, and have a better quality life. I have an uncle that was a firefighter in LA County for decades. I have close friends up in Duluth. One of them is a firefighter up in Duluth. I know folks down in St. Louis Park, which is where I live. I know folks in Minneapolis. I've gotten to know firefighters over the past 6 years. Firefighters are one of the pillars of the community. So whenever we can give you tools and resources to help you do your job, and like I said, be safer on the job and have a better quality of life, then you can continue to better support the communities that you're serving. You could have done anything else tonight. You chose to be here, and I really appreciate that. It's just, like I said, it's a real honor to be able to provide this to you. This is the second of 5 classes. We're going to be focusing on hydration, and you know this as a firefighter, how critical hydration is. But we're going to talk about it. I may give you some new perspective that you hadn't thought of before. And we're going to talk about which foods can help from a hydration standpoint, and then which ones you want to, which foods and beverages. And I'm going to do a cooking demonstration, and then we'll talk about the things to avoid. With all my classes, I'll be giving you the recipe. And actually for this one, did you pop it in the?
I did. I can do it
Okay,
again.
well, you'll get this in the chat box, or Dee Dee will be sending it out tomorrow. We actually have 4 recipes on here, and I'll talk about those in a moment, and we will prepare one of them. It's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to have a little bit of a PowerPoint, and that will just kind of to have a formal introduction, give you some context as to why we frame what we do for firefighters and other organizations. And then we'll get into some of the nuts and bolts. Then we're going to come back into my studio kitchen, which I love having you here. We got a couple seats up front still, so come on in if you want. And we'll cook. And while we're doing this, I encourage you, I appreciate, recommend, invite you to ask me questions, make comments, thoughts. something that's top of mind on the topic, something that I showed you, whatever it might be. I want you to ask, and maybe you got something that you're curious that's going on in your own world when it comes to food, cooking, things like that. So please, that's what one of producer Jana's role is to moderate and field the questions. She'll share it, and then she will, I'll answer the questions. So, all right, let's get started. What time are we at? We got 54 minutes, so I got to get my act together here. All right, we're going to. Yes, we can. There was a question about providing the recipe from the first session. If you can find the folder where you dragged, if you go back a folder to it'll say number 1, Nourish, there's a recipe in there. We're going to try to pop the first session's recipe into the chat box for those of you that would like to have it that didn't get it. But we are going to get started now, and everybody can hear, everyone can see.
Is it chicken bok choy?
Yeah, chicken bok choy. Go ahead and pop that in. This was the recipe that we did. Our first series was Nourish. I keep interrupting myself. So as I said, this is the second of 5 series. The third class that we're going to do is going to be all about surviving the holidays. And then we're going to focus on sleep. Then we're going to focus on physical activity. And like I said, we're going to put our unique Smart Nutrition spin onto it to help support you firefighters. So I think you'll find it valuable. And if you like it, great. Please let MnFIRE know that this was of value. If you thought it was a waste of time, please let them know so that we can improve what we're doing and making sure that we're giving you meaningful information and support. Cool. Thank you. All right. As I said, we're focusing on hydration. And first, I just want to say, Marshall O'Brien here. I'm a trained chef, published author, regular on Fox 9 television. I've been doing this stuff I've been working with fire departments for over 6 years now, but I've been a chef and focusing on health and wellness using food for almost 20 years. I look like I'm 29, but I'm 43, and married 15 years, 2 daughters, 9 and 5. And I'm going to actually bring that up. That'll make sense why I share. That's one of my reasons why I do what I do, and I'll tell you in just a second. But I have, just like all of you, I have a team. I have a phenomenal team that helps us provide this type of meaningful content and support. I have 3 chefs, 3 dietitians, 2 research, 2 writers, videographer, publisher, editor. And our whole focus is to help all of you that are watching tonight, and if you have kids or if you have grandkids, help you lead better quality lives. Help you be safer on the job, help you be more pain-free the next day. Whatever it takes to help you take ownership for your health and your safety. We want to do that through the lens of Smart Nutrition. And I'm not your mother. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but I'm going to give you tips and tools and share those so that we can, like I said, make life a little bit easier for you. And just as in the chat box, just so you know, you'll get a certificate of completion tomorrow via email in case you're wondering about that. Okay, let's just call out the elephant in the room, ladies and gentlemen. 70% of today's deaths are from chronic diseases. Heart attacks is a big one for firefighters. Obviously, this is why MnFIRE is doing what they're doing, and that's why we're supporting MnFIRE. Heart attacks are a big problem, obviously. When you look at the population as a whole in the U.S., these chronic diseases, heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, arthritis, respiratory disease, inflammatory bowel disease, Alzheimer's disease. Big problems that we have. Half the population has a chronic disease. 25% or more of the population has 25% of the population has 2 or more of these chronic diseases. And as we age and with our lifestyle, we're going to get one of these diseases. Now, one of the recent revelations, and when I say recent, in the last couple of months, that with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, folks that have pre-existing chronic diseases, if they get COVID-19, they're in a world of hurt or worse. So we really have to look at how we take care of ourselves. And this was obviously a big problem in the past, and it's just been amplified. Like a big spotlight has been put on it, and it's not pretty, but it is the world that we live in. And again, that's why we're doing what we're doing for folks. Once the body's damaged, it's often irreversible. You live with the effects for the rest of your life, which is kind of crazy. So it's like if I get cancer or I get diabetes, I go to the doctor. What do? They give me meds. I get radiation. Like I get all this invasive procedures to manage my situation. And at the end of the day, doctors can't fix it. They can't solve it. They can only help you deal with it. Well, here's the good news and the bad news, ladies and gentlemen. 70% of these chronic diseases are self-induced, which means that it's our lifestyles. Now, as a firefighter, sleep is a precious commodity. It's part of your world. This was at least 5 years ago now. I did a big program with the city of Minneapolis, and I did multiple 24-hour shift visits. And obviously, a career firefighter has a different work lifestyle than on call or a volunteer firefighter. But the reality is whether you're in either of those positions, if you're not getting the right amount of sleep, your body can't rejuvenate, it can't recover, it can't repair itself, and it actually will. You can perpetuate age-related illnesses as a result. So what you eat, the kind of sleep you get, and how much stress you have in your life are like mega predeterminants of if you're going to get these chronic diseases or not. Now, here's what just kills me. Knowing that, like with my uncle and one of my best friends, and now getting to know more of the firefighters in Minnesota, on average, read this is insane. On average, firefighters have a 12-year shorter life expectancy than non-firefighters. Because of what I've chosen to do as a job versus what my uncle did, he's got statistically speaking, 12 years less to live than I would. That is effed up, and I apologize for being so crass about it. But we got to figure out a way to change that. And that I don't know, again, you've got demanding jobs, stress, lack of sleep. It's tough. I get it. So at the end of the day, though, there are things that you can do, and there are things you are doing. When I do presentations for folks, regardless of the industry, about half of the group is saying, hey, this is validation for me. I'm on the right track. I'm taking, I'm doing things. I'm making improvements. I'm adding positive things to my life. For the other half of the group, it's new information. So wherever you are on your journey, it's my pleasure, it's my privilege to be able to provide you any kind of nugget that can help make things just a little bit better for you. At the end of the day, if you want to have a quality of life now and when you retire, it's up to you. You've got to do something about it, and you do it now. So we have 4 components that we focus on: nutrition, sleep, hydration, physical activity. Different groups have different needs. So if you're a saleswoman, if you're a police officer, if you're a construction worker, if you're a teacher, if you're an office support staff, if you're a firefighter, you have different needs. And in the case of firefighters, when we look at smart nutrition, sleep, hydration, physical activity, the first 3 are absolutely critical. If you're if you're not hydrated properly, you're putting yourself at serious risk if you have a big event. If your sleep is suffering, now your mental cognition's in decline, you could make a poor choice, and now you've forever changed your life, your buddy's life, civilians around you, who knows, folks on the rig, you never know. And nutrition, if you're not eating the right foods, it's going to be really hard for your body to be able to recover, repair, rejuvenate. Again, you can suffer injuries on the job as a result. Physical activity is important, but you have, because of your job, the opportunity to be active, and you have a lot of things, whether it's, dealing with, maintenance work, working on the rigs, doing your duties around the fire station, or just getting activity into your life. It's important. It certainly is important, but these are the 3 things that we really focus on when it comes to firefighters. So I'm going to talk a little bit about hydration, and then I'm going to get into the recipe, and I'm really excited about that, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun making that. Actually, I'm gonna heat up my little mini grill pan here while I'm talking. So if you have any questions or comments or anything, please you can add them in the chat box, and then we'll start answering those for you. Not yet. Okay, couple more slides here. So the first thing I want you to be thinking about, when it comes to hydration, your brain and your body, 75% water. Now, maybe it's 74%, maybe it's 76%, but it's a lot of flipping water. A couple key things that, as a firefighter, when you're optimally hydrated. When you're optimally hydrated, that will help you maintain a body core temperature, which is incredibly significant. You know, you sweat your tails off when you're in your turnout gear. That turnout gear is not like a chef coat. I mean, that stuff is obviously designed to keep you alive so you don't burn up in a super hot, you know, in flames. Having said that, if you have a significant swing in body core temperature, your life is forever changed. I've met guys and gals that had that happen to them while they were on the job. And if you've had that happen to you, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe you know somebody. This is a big deal. Big, big, big deal, of course. Also, when you're optimally hydrated, that hydration is going to help your lungs better withstand dust, smoke, and fumes. So that, to me, those right there are the top things in my mind, at least as a firefighter, why I want to stay hydrated. Removing waste and toxins, helping break down food, you know, to convert into energy, help lubricate joints and muscles. You know, how many of you have been on the job for at least 5 years, maybe 10 years, 15 years? Point is, our bodies age, but the demands of the job and the toll it takes on our body stays the same. So we have to figure out how to use nutrition, sleep, hydration, physical activity to help our body keep up, even though as we age with that. Anybody know what this one, can you click, thank you. Anybody know what 1% means? Well, I think I already gave it away with the title on the slide, but your body does not recognize signs of thirst until it's lost 1% of its body weight in fluid ounces. So at that point, and that doesn't sound very significant, but it is significant because you think about it, when you're mildly dehydrated, you have muscle fatigue, you have your mental cognition is impaired, your physical performance is impaired. That's significant. You cannot afford that as a firefighter. You are a liability on the job if you're dehydrated. Good hydration takes 8 to 12 hours. Optimal or total hydration takes 18 to 24 hours. So you always got to think like you are hydrating for the next day. And I know that hydration is something that fire departments look at, and this is huge. And you know, you know a lot of this stuff, but sometimes life happens. We get busy. We don't really think about, you know, maybe we got a couple days off and, you know, we're enjoying, like while the weather's still nice, we're enjoying it. We're on the boat. We're having a couple beers. We're dehydrating ourselves. We don't realize it. Then you go on the job. You got problems if something comes up. So how do you know if you're hydrated or dehydrated? Well, there's a tried and true way, and that's, of course, looking at your pee. So if your pee is clear, you're fine. Mildly yellow, you're fine. If it's golden, you know, light golden to golden, you're dehydrated. If your pee is orange or brown, I wouldn't worry about it because you're probably dying on the way to the hospital in the ambulance. So how much water do you need? Now this is where, with, you know, everybody has a different hydration strategy, meaning at surface level, you take half your body weight, and that's how many fluid ounces. So if you're 200 pounds, you're going to drink 100 fluid ounces of water. You might be thinking, whoa, that's a lot of water. Well, it depends on your size. It also depends on how much you sweat. If you're in your turnout gear because you're doing runs all night, you're sweating a lot. So you need to drink more water. But you need to figure out, again, it's not easy. I get this. Like, you know, when you sign up to be a firefighter, your sleep is affected. Like your life is a lot different than a typical 9-to-5 person. So you have to figure out how to hydrate in a way that won't inhibit you from getting quality sleep when you have the opportunity. And that's obviously really critical. So focus on this. You know, if you find yourself having yellow pee, you may want to think about how can I get more fluids into my life. And we'll talk about the fluids to focus on. What I want to do now is I want to put together this dynamite chicken with tomato, orange, cucumber salad. It's a topping or a salad, however you want to do it. And this is a great recipe, along with all the other recipes. You go ahead and flip out. Thank you. This is an awesome recipe because these are all hydrating foods, okay? So I have, right now, we've got, what, 30 people on the call right now? I got everybody. Rob, good to see you, man. I see people. Awesome. That's not George. You're a lot better looking than George, okay? Has anyone said that? All right, that was, no one's, okay, I got some smiles. Thank you. You know, when you do this stuff live, you can feel the energy a lot more. And sometimes you feel like an ass when you, anyways, I'm moving forward. Okay, so The reason why we pick these recipes, ladies and gentlemen, is they're hydrating foods. For those of you that have been in my classes, whether at Eden Prairie or Waconia or St. Louis Park or Minneapolis, or, you know, obviously like doing these webinars now, we give you recipes that serve a purpose. Yes, it has to taste good. That's a given. If it doesn't taste good, I've just wasted an hour of your time. It has to taste good. It needs to be practical. And I want to work for you, okay? Think about this for a second. You know, like we said in the first session, nourishing is different than eating. Food works for you, and food can work against you. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a station visiting and working on an initiative, and you know, community members want to say, hey, thank you, firefighters, for what you're doing and helping. And what do you see, you know, if you have a station that you might be rotating firefighters at, what might you see in the kitchen? What might you see in the station that someone was so kind from the community dropped off for you? Put it in the chat box. Come on, quick. Yeah, exactly, Anthony. Cake. What else? What else we got? Cookies, candy, you name it. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk about this, but if we know that after a super hard event, whether it's an accident, and I know that, what, 80%, give or take, pizza, yep, Timothy, you're right on that. You know, about 84% of runs are going to be medical runs, but that still takes a lot of your energy. And you know, if there's a big wicked car accident or some crazy type of thing, and you're really physically, you know, using your body and all that, donuts, yep, Sherry, you got it. Okay, thank you guys, we got it. But that's exactly right. And I know there's a lot more, chips and all that. The point is, you've exerted your body, you've exhausted your body, you're dehydrated, you're worn out, your muscles are just totally cashed, your muscle glycogen in the muscles that help fuel the muscles are spent. You need to eat the right foods. You've got to hopefully get some sleep. You need to have the right type of hydrating beverages. Well, what usually happens? I mean, I've heard it's like, well, okay, let's just go get a pizza or whatever the heck's open for late night, right? That's like one of the worst things that you can do, because those foods oftentimes, the highly processed foods, the excess sugar is pro-inflammatory. You're going to wake up when you eventually do get to sleep. You're going to feel miserable, tight, swollen, stiff, sore. Anyone relate to that? Pop it in the chat box. Okay, so I kind of went off on a tangent there, but my point is, we got to work on foods that'll work for us, okay? Okay, so meaning we're focusing on hydrating foods. And I have this recipe here. We're going to put this together, and this is very, very tasty. I would love for you, if you are doing any cooking at your station, or if you do all your meals at home, to me it doesn't matter, because you're always can be taking care of yourself with great tasting, nourishing foods that work for you. In the case of hydrating foods, obviously there's soups, there's stews, there's chili. That kind of is that's an obvious one. We think of fruit. We think of oranges and grapefruit, watermelon. Especially like in the summertime. How about tomatoes, onions, cucumbers, parsley? Those are all hydrating foods. How about oats? Anybody do oatmeal for breakfast? Lentils, quinoa, beans can be a hydrating food, but whole grains as a result. If you don't do gluten, or if you're having a more of a lower carbohydrate diet, you can get lots of awesome hydrating foods from vegetables and from fruits, and making soups and stews and things like that. So yes, water is an obvious thing, and there's like herbal teas and that sort of stuff to hydrate you, but use food. Have 1 to 2 dishes a day that can help hydrate you. So if you're thinking, oh yeah, I really do want to have hydrating foods in my life, or I want to hydrate myself, I don't want to drink 100 ounces or 80 ounces or whatever of water every day. That sounds crazy. Well, take advantage of the food, okay? We clear on that? I think that's pretty cool. Because again, I'm a realist, folks. You got a lot going on. You're busy. It may not always, be practical to be, swigging water and all that. And depending on your day schedule and stuff, I get it. Whatever works for you. Okay, so let's get into the recipe that I have. I hope everybody. Whoops, I just lost my recipe. I hope everybody download their recipe. So we've got this chicken, tomato, orange, cucumber salad. We've got a strawberry spinach salad. We have a tomato, cucumber, quinoa salad. We have a strawberry peach smoothie. All of these have hydrating food properties, and they're great, like I said, for things that you can have during the day. So let's zero in now on this recipe that I've got in front of us. You could broil the chicken. You could grill the chicken. You could have leftover rotisserie chicken, or just have a rotisserie. It doesn't have to be leftover. It can be fresh, but it could be a rotisserie chicken. Or skillet chicken, whatever you want to do. If you want to switch it out for a different protein, if you want to do fish instead, if you don't eat meat or you don't eat fish, you could do, a wedge of tofu. You could do lentils like I was talking about. I'm really, again, I want to get all the barriers out of the way. I'm really flexible. If you are, I don't know how many of you ever, seen any of my videos, but I always say, anything that you can do today that you were not doing yesterday that's positive is progress. So just figure out how to make this stuff a part of your life if you're not doing as much as you want. Again, baby steps are better than no steps at all. Okay, so this is getting nice and hot. I got a cast iron skillet. A lot of fire stations that I've been to, in the cities at least, they have, a lot of people like to use cast iron. This little paper towel is not going to help me keep my hand warm, or keep it from burning, but that's getting hot. I want that hot. I'm going to add the chicken on here. Now, had I prepared a little bit differently, I may have tossed the chicken with a little olive oil. You could use some spices if you want. Now that I say that, I'm going to grab some spices real quick. I've got some paprika here. Now, here, a quick little tip, quick little extra bonus for you, my firefighter friends. If you use a lot of herbs and spices, buying in bulk like this is totally cool. But if you don't use a lot of herbs and spices, I would not buy in bulk. I'd buy little containers. Now, here's another little tip for you. If you are waking up stiff and sore and all that, herbs and spices, paprika, cumin, thyme, basil, oregano, those have anti-inflammatory properties. And if you eat those along with anti-inflammatory foods, it will help reduce the swelling and inflammation. So you definitely want to get those into your life. All right, I've got a little bit of, got a hot pan here. I seem to be knocking this thing on every presentation we've done lately. I have a hard time. Okay, so this is hot. I'm going to put this chicken on the grill here. Anybody got a question, cooking technique question, any kind of anything? A first tip is don't put a bunch of meat in a super small bowl. Producer John is also my wife, and she gives me grief about that. Surprised you didn't say anything yet. Okay, I'm going to season it. Make this really simple. I'm going to season it. I got a hot pan. You can hear the sizzle. All right. Going to put a little or a lot paprika on there. No problem. I'm going to get some other paprika to the other chicken there. But we're going to start cooking that. We're going to let this cook. Let this sizzle. You want a sizzle. If you don't have a sizzle, chicken's not going to cook the way you want it. But we got a sizzle, and that's a good thing. Going to add a little bit of add some black pepper to it. And this is not the focus of tonight's demonstration. I want to focus on making this other dish because it's all about hydrating foods, okay? To start with, I'm going to move my bowl over here. We're going to start with orange. Easy. What I try to do in all my recipes, did you flip up show the ingredients for them? I want to make this as simple as possible. So you might be thinking like, oh, that's a really interesting combination with the oranges or the tomatoes. We're going to show you what it looks like here.
The ingredients.
Yep, ingredients. Thank you. Yeah, I want to have you think outside the box a little bit and just be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And like something with this is you could make this in advance. Okay, make it in advance and then have it, put it as a topping as we're going to do with the chicken here, or you could just have it as a side dish, especially after a nice, after like sweating your tail off. This is just chock full of vitamins, minerals, nutrients. It's going to be awesome for your body, and it's going to taste phenomenal. I'm peeling off the skin here. You can use any type of orange. I also try to be seasonal, and this isn't the most seasonal fruit. This would be even more fresh, actually they're really good right now, but this batch that I got. But, this is more like a winter fruit. But having said that, I want you to, if this is what works for you, that is awesome. So you can break it up if you want, or you can cut it up, whatever is easiest for you. In all my classes, ladies and gentlemen, I try to show you different tips, techniques, and that sort of thing, just to make this stuff easier for yourself. Again, if you want to peel it, break it up with your hand, you can, or you can do what I'm doing here, and I'm just gonna let my knife do the work, and I'm gonna cut it up in a series of small bite-sized pieces here, and maybe I'll break these up a little bit more here. This would be great. You could, if you prefer to use canned, mandolin clementines. Mandolin's the Turkish version. Yeah, clementines. If you want to use those instead, the little mandarin oranges. That's what I was trying to say. You can certainly do that. I think these are going to taste a lot better. But this is going to be dynamite. So we're going to put that in. Again, we got hydrating, great tasting food that's going to work for you. That's what we're focusing on. We're going to take some. Should have cut these up in advance. Think about that. We're going to take cherry tomatoes here. If you just want to cut up a whole tomato, you certainly can do that. I would not use canned diced tomatoes. I think that's going to taste kind of gross, to be totally honest, because just the texture, the flavor is going to be really tangy. It's not going to go well with. It's not going to go well with. It's not going to go well with that. So we're going to use these guys. You notice, ladies and gentlemen, can everybody see my hands? Can everybody see how I'm letting my knuckles guide my blade? Can you all see that? And just let the blade do the work. Pretty simple. I have some homework for you. I can't remember if I gave this to you last time, but I want you to, the next time you are in your kitchen and you're cooking, you're going to take something, maybe it's a cucumber, maybe it's this recipe, okay? And you're going to practice this movement. You see how my knife just rocks back and forth like that. These little tomatoes are a little hard to cut, but you get the point here. I want to make sure that I'm following my directions. I have a tendency not to follow my directions. I get so into talking to you that I kind of just get in the zone. So I have some parsley. You can use cilantro for this, whichever you want to use. But I'm going to just chop it up. Now, I was just talking, letting the knife do the work. Can you all see my hands? Can you see my knuckles? Can you see how I let the knife go back and forth like that? Everybody see that? Give me a sign. Johnny, Al, thank you, Al, appreciate that. Okay, good. So that's exactly what you want to do. You just let the knife do the work. I want you to do this 1 minute. Thank you, Brett, appreciate it. Sherry, good to do it 1 minute a night. Is that a big request? 1 minute a night? Come on, tell me. Al, okay, you get where I'm going with this. It's not a big deal. Just do 1 minute a night of that for 7 nights in a row. And if you do it in the morning, that's a bonus point. I don't know what you're going to win, but 1 minute, 7 minutes a week. And you know what's going to happen? By the end of that week of 7 minutes, not even 10 minutes, okay? And if you want to go above and beyond because you're an overachiever, go for it. But you will have just boosted your confidence and your ability to take care of yourself in your kitchen, okay? That's huge. 7 minutes. And then obviously the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the easier it gets, the more you're going to be like, hey, I like doing this for myself. Okay, well, now if you're not very welcome in the kitchen at your house, you definitely have to do this then. You got to practice, all right? And John, you just got to practice, okay? No problem. Oh, actually, I do have my fingers, but you get my point. Okay, so we've got our parsley or our cilantro in there. Now we're going to take some cucumber, and this is significant because cucumber is another one of those hydrating foods. If you want to switch this up, instead of the orange, you want to put apples in there. That would actually taste really good with this dish, or mango, or peaches. I'm not trying to be totally out of the blue with these, but what I'm trying to do is come up with great tasting, helpful foods that are practical that you have, that any grocery store would have for you. And then, like I said, going to help nourish you, okay? That's the whole overarching theme of this.
Are you gonna peel that?
If you want to peel this, you can. So we'll just grab a peeler. I have, of course, I usually have like 7, and I can't find one. All right, I found one. If the skin is bitter, absolutely peel it. If it's not bitter, it's really up to you. But I'm going to peel this, and you can see how thin. This is one of those English cucumbers. It happens to be a very, very thin peel. Now I know why this was the one peeler left in the drawer, because it kind of stinks. But anyways, notice how I'm doing that back and forth motion. I can get the peels off really quick that way versus just going like this. Especially with a dull peeler, it's going to take me like 2 weeks. So, but you see where I was going with that. You got the gist of it. I happen to have chickens at my house, and I'm their favorite guy when I bring things like this home, or carrots, or you name it. They love it, so I bring those for them. All right, so we've peeled that. I might just get a little bit up. Anyone you got any questions or comments? Has anyone tried? Is anyone in their kitchen right now and they've already cut off their finger? Let me know. Or just go to call a firefighter. They'll take you to the hospital. Okay. All right, we are going to cut this up. Again, I want you to practice. I want you to practice using the knife and feeling comfortable with the knife. Just see it right here? I'm going to plank it on the side and then flip it down, and then I'll just do a series of cuts. Okay? Next, I'm just going with the knife through the work. You can go really slow, you can go really fast. I'm doing a rocking motion. See how I'm rocking that? Can you see that, folks? Just like that. You can do this if you want, that's fine. At the end of the day, whatever helps you get these foods into your life, if you got a certain type of technique you want to do it, go for it. Now, it's really important, as you know, if you don't have the right tools, can you do your job effectively and safely? Someone's got to respond to that. Okay, well, head nods works for me too. Thank you. No, of course you can't. I have seen some people try to cook and cut things up with a little knife like this. Now, you don't have to admit this, anybody, but if you've got a little knife like that and you're trying to cut stuff up or make meals for the week, because that's one of the things that we highly recommend is that you cook, try to make meals in advance or prep ingredients in advance, because if you have a busy schedule, maybe you're a volunteer firefighter or you're on call, so you've got, other obligations besides doing firefighting, you've got to figure out a way to have control in your life. And when you prep and meal plan, that's one way to do it. Otherwise, you're being controlled by your environment, by your circumstances. You're going from, one crisis situation to the other, like, I got to eat, where am I going to get food, what's available, et cetera, et cetera. So take ownership, take control, and use the right equipment. It'll make it a lot easier, and you'll be able to catch on a lot faster, and then you'll be more likely to want to do it. All right, so continuing on, I have making a series of cuts for this, and then I'm going to do it again, just like that. My chicken is pretty much just about cooked. You could butterfly it and grill it, and then it would cook a little bit faster. Certainly could do that.
And that's not one of our chickens.
And that is not, no. I don't know if everybody heard that. That is not one of our chickens. Yeah, that'd be kind of sad if it was. I don't know. Maybe it would. Maybe it would taste really good. But we love our chickens. They're like pets. I won't eat my dog. I won't eat my chickens. I'm just one of those guys. All right, we're going to add our diced up, chopped up cucumbers here. This salad will make a good fair amount. Again, you could toss this, toss it up, have it just as is. It's going to be wonderful, refreshing. It's going to feel really good when you eat it. You could have it on on top of the chicken, as we're going to do too. It's going to be dynamite. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to add a little bit of we're going to add onions. Let's add some onions in. If you want to use white onions, yellow onions, green onions, you can certainly do that. That'll work just fine. I'm going to peel the onion. I have this other onion, but it's kind of funky, and I don't want to get my hands all funky. So I have some onion I had a presentation either today or yesterday, and I had some onion in it. So I'm just peeling off. So here you go. We got that. We're ready to go. We're going to take a little bit of the ends off. Let me know you can see that. Just take off the papery, fibrous stuff, because that stuff isn't going to taste good. And again, I'm really flexible with how I how I put recipes together. Hey, I'm curious, has anybody made anyone have a recipe from me before? Let me know. Let me know in the chat box if you've had one of my recipes, and if you liked it, let everybody know. And if you didn't, you don't need to respond. But you can dice it. You can slice it. I'm going to dice it so that you can, again, just seeing the knife skills. So notice with my knife here, I'm going 3/4 of the way, almost to the end, but not all the way through. And then, can everybody see this? I'm going, like, see that? I went almost all the way across, but not totally across.
Why don't you get rid of the ends?
What's that?
Get rid of the ends.
So producer John is saying get rid of the end. Well, there's a reason why I have that. It's because then when I cut, as you will see, I can get so much more easily of the onion. I don't like to waste food, and I'm going to guess you don't either. So how do you make the most out of whatever you're cooking? That's something that I really want you to think about. Now we just let the knife do the work, and it's kind of big, kind of clunky because it's a big onion, but you can see it. I'm letting my knuckles do the guide. See, I got a monitor over here I like to watch too. But I just got I let my knuckles do the guide, let my knuckles guide my knife, and at the end of the day, I've got just that, and we're all set. Easy. We're going to add that to our dish. This was very simple. You can just use a slap chop. Yes, you may. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to guess it's sort of like one of those, what do you call those things?
Slap chop?
Yeah, it's a slap chop. See, if you played hockey, you're going to think slap shot, but I didn't play hockey either, but I still thought slap shot. So there you have it. All right, how's that look, folks? Does that look beautiful? Doesn't that look awesome? Smells amazing. Put any kind of herbs you want. We're going to do a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper. Okay. Here's a little, for those of you that did not hear the first class, olive oil as an example, or walnuts, or butter not in moderation, or yogurt. Those are good fats, and those fats are going to help build cell membranes. Olive oil, for example, has omega-3s, fatty acids, which can help reduce inflammation. You know, again, I always want you to think of how can you have food work for you. You know, sometimes people think, oh, well, it's healthy, it's gross, who cares? But if you know that it can actually improve your ability to be safe on the job, to me, I would do it in a heartbeat. So have those foods that, again, are going to help decrease that swelling a little bit the next day. That can help you have stable blood sugar. Now, that's another one. I haven't even talked about that. And when you hydrate properly, that can help with keeping your blood sugar stable, as well as having foods like these. That is very critical because I'm pretty sure we talked about blood sugar in the last session. When your blood sugar goes up and down, think about this. You know, you got a big event. Okay, fire, accident, doesn't matter. It's stressful. You are super razor focused. You have a procedure in order to minimize any more damage or casualties or other potential consequences of, and so you're just like on track. Well, if your blood sugar is all over the place, because let's say you didn't eat the right foods earlier in the day, or you didn't eat enough, or you had too much caffeine, or you had too much sugar, and let's say you had horrible sleep the night before, and so your hormones, cortisol hormones, is going all over the place because your blood sugar is going up and down. You've got stress, you got cortisol pumping through you. It's really going to affect you and affect your ability to make good decisions. Whereas if your blood sugar is staying steady because you've got some good food and good nourishment in your system, and you got some good sleep, so that good sleep can help reset your cortisol levels. We'll be talking about that in the fourth class. Yeah, in the fourth class. Pretty certain that's the fourth class, the sleep class. Powerful stuff, folks. Anyways, you want to keep your blood sugar stable. Hydrating foods can do that too. So there's so many benefits to it besides just tasting awesome and having a great meal. Okay, there was Jana. There's a question. Oh, awesome. I appreciate you bringing that up. Yes, we have this recording, the first session at is there a specific page for that, Dee Dee? Is there an actual page? Maybe you can post that, because I was I was on MnFIRE's website, and I just wasn't very smart. Maybe I didn't look enough, but if you could actually post, if you can find it, that'd be super cool. Okay, this looks great. We're good. Questions, comments about what I have put together. I wish I had a slap chop to show you, but I don't. But I do have some chicken here. We're going to get a plate. All right, what I'd like to do, Jonna, is I got a couple more things that I want to show you on the PowerPoint. Just to reiterate, the beverages to focus on, the beverages to avoid, and then we'll get back to our recipe here. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Hold on.
All right, as I was saying, when it comes to hydrating is different than drinking, okay? I do not have milk on there, but milk would be a hydrating beverage, whether it's cow's milk, goat milk, or a plant-based milk. That would certainly, thank you for doing that, Dee Dee, I appreciate it. Water, herbal teas, coconut water, carbonated water. One thing you got to keep in mind with carbonated beverages, if you're always drinking carbonated beverages, that carbonation can leach calcium from your bones. And it's more of an issue for women because women tend to have a lighter bone density than men. Not always, but oftentimes. So that's something you may want to be mindful of, is to maybe cut back a little bit on the carbonated water if you're doing a lot of carbonated water. On the coconut water side, it's a great electrolyte beverage, and that's something I haven't even brought up. Electrolytes, for firefighters, after, if let's say there is a fire. There's a fire, and you're rotating through teams, dealing with the fire, and then you're taking Gatorade or Powerade or whatever's available, or just water. Great. Coconut water is a solution that wouldn't be at a fire, but it's big business. Everybody's selling coconut water. You've got to read the label because they're going to have a lot of stuff in it that actually is going to work against you. So pay attention that it's just coconut water. You don't really have to, ultimately, I know maybe you want to have flavored stuff, but water is probably the best thing to have. If you're going to do herbal teas, which I like herbal teas, make sure that you watch the caffeine, because caffeine is a diuretic, and most people know this. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. If you have more than 2 cups, well, actually, it doesn't even matter if you have more than 2 cups. Here's the thing. Caffeine stays in your system. Like, let's say you drink coffee, or you drink a Red Bull or a Monster energy drink, or drink a bunch of coffee. The caffeine stays in your system, the last drop, like up to 12 hours. So what I'm trying to say is you need a 12-hour buffer from your last drop of caffeinated beverage to when you go to bed. Why is this significant? The caffeine will affect the hormones that regulate your sleep, preventing you from getting quality, restful sleep. See, I'm so into the sleep thing, I got to bring in that class into tonight. But the caffeine is, there's a lot of folks that drink caffeine, and I drink caffeine. I drink black tea, I drink green tea, and I give myself a buffer as well. Now, green tea has 1/3 of the amount of caffeine as you would find in coffee, for example. Black tea has more caffeine, but I don't think it has as much. I can't remember, to be honest with you. Point is, got to pay attention. So maybe you do 2 8-ounce cups, 16 fluid ounces of caffeine a day, no problem. Sports drinks, energy drinks, awesome business strategy, big money maker for food companies and beverage companies. For 99% of the people that drink them, complete waste of calories, waste of money, unnecessary. So just something to think about. Alcohol, diuretic. Having a glass or 2, no problem. But the problem is if we chronically use alcohol, it totally whacks out your adrenal glands, which is one of your stress hormones, one of your regulatory hormones, affecting your sleep, your energy, your mental cognition. It's a challenge. So do whatever you can do to keep that to a minimum. Again, you can't afford to be on the job dehydrated or having, if you're not getting good sleep because of too much caffeine or too much sugar or too much whatever, you're putting yourself at serious risk. It's just not worth it. So those are you might be saying, hey, dude, what about the juice? There's juice on there, fruit juice. Well, here's the thing. Fruit juice has the same metabolic effect as a can of Coke. almost the same amount of sugar as a can of Coke. Yeah, the can of Coke has either real sugar or high fructose corn syrup, but the fruit juice, it doesn't have the roughage, so it's just like naturally crunched sugar and water, and spikes your blood sugar. It's not a hydrating beverage, okay? So these do not hydrate you. Nice drink to have here and there, but they're not part of your hydration strategy. So really pay attention to that. If you would like to get more, if you want to get more recipes, you want to stay in touch with me, take your smartphone right now, ladies and gentlemen, and just pull it up here, put your camera app on, put it up to your screen, and it will take, it'll open up a little, like, add your email, but I give you, no, it doesn't cost you anything. Recipes, tips make your life easier, prep strategies, things like that. And so if I can help you in any way, you can always reach out outside of these webinars. You can contact me anytime. Happy to do whatever I can to be a resource for you. And these webinars are just one way that we can do that. Okay, so let me just recap everything I just said, because I just talked my face off, and I still have time. What time is it? Oh, we got 8 minutes. All right, good. All right, so to recap, folks, thank you. Drinking is not the same as hydrating. That's simple. If you are thirsty, remember, if you are thirsty, you've already, you physiologically have lost 1% of your body weight in fluid ounces. You are mildly dehydrated. You're already walking into a situation with 1 foot in the hole. You don't want that. Focus when you can on drinking half of your body weight in fluid ounces. And if you sweat like crazy, and obviously if you're in your turnout gear, on and off, in and out, doing all these things when you're on your shift, well, you might need to drink more. Number 4, focus on 1 or 2 hydrating foods a day. Okay, that's just one way to not have to drink so much water. Like this recipe that I'm going to put together in 2 seconds, because I'm just finishing off the chicken here. I want you to avoid, and I didn't mention this yet, but I want you to avoid artificial sweeteners. You might be thinking, what's the big deal about artificial sweeteners? The problem with the artificial sweeteners, folks, is the science right now says that they trick your brain into thinking it's been fed, which brain takes glucose. Once it realizes it hasn't, because it had an artificial sweetener, it will crave simple carbohydrates, which translate to sugary beverages, sugar-type foods, simple carbohydrates, and now you're going down the wrong path. So avoid artificial sweeteners. We talked about caffeine, 2 8 fluid ounces, no big deal. And then you got to minimize alcohol because it causes severe dehydration. All right, you can bounce out of there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut up a little bit of my chicken here. This looks dynamite, nice and tender here. I'll put a little bit on my plate. Of course, take as much as you want. We just had dinner before we came over here, so I don't want to make John eat too much. Take that fantastic, beautiful topping here. Okay, does that look awesome or what, folks? Did you put the finished product up?
Not yet. I'm waiting for you.
All right. That just looks gorgeous. Now we're going to grab a fork. I got my toughest critic right here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, one thing I didn't do? Shame on me. When you're getting into recipes for the first time, and it's something you may not be really, if you're a seasoned cook, usually it says, you're confident, and you know the flavor profiles, you can visualize, you can figure it out. But if you're not, you always need to taste things so you know why it tastes the way it tastes. Why are those mushrooms nice and meaty and tender after they've been cooked? Why do these just have this? Why does this have this beautiful blended of flavors? Let's taste it.
Is it a bigger spoon?
That's awesome. I want to add a little salt to it. I don't think I added salt. I add a little pepper. If you want to add, try talking with you. This is not a TV bite. See, you learn how to do TV bites. I blew it. I didn't do a TV bite. Where did that salt go? Here we go. We're going to add a little bit of salt to this. Mix that up. Now, when you do this and you add the salt to it, the salt's going to pull out the juices, the liquids from the tomatoes and the orange and the cucumbers, and it'll give it nice, even a nicer, little more, just give that nice little flavor and richness there. We're bringing all the flavors out. But this is going to be dynamite. I mean, it just looks phenomenal. I mean, that's a piece, that's art, my friends, right there. That is art, and you got the fancy picture that John had put up for you. Here you go. Enjoy. Don't eat it all in one place. Okay, we've got 4 minutes left. Questions, comments, thoughts. What can I do for you? How can I help? What do you, if you want any help for your departments, you could give us a call. Reach out to us. We can be a resource anyway. We have a Smart Nutrition Cookbook. Some of you, if you're with either St. Louis Park or Waconia or Eden Prairie tonight, you got those books a couple of years ago when we did some presentations and workshops for you. So our cookbook meal planner is just that. Teaches you how to plan out your week: breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, slow cookers, instant pot, slow cooker, multi-cooker. Multi-cooker is the generic way to say instant pot. Dressing, sauces, that sort of thing. And then we have a Smart Nutrition workbook that serves as like the pathway to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. So if I can be a resource for you with any of those, you can go to chefmarshallo'brien.com, check that out.
I'm signing also.
Oh, yes.
Sign up.
You saw the little scanner for the newsletter. We've got our newsletter. You can sign up. Just click on the link in the chat box. Check that out. Our next presentation for this series, can somebody bail me out right now because I forgot it. It is, oh my gosh, November, let's see. Somebody help me. Dee Dee, Lifeline. Quick.
November 19th.
Thank you. You're the best. November 19th. Again, Thursday night, 6:30. Going to be talking about getting through the holidays. It's going to be an awesome presentation. Please join. Tell people to participate. Okay? The more that we can provide and support you guys and gals, the more we want to do it, the more people, we're doing this because we care. And, again, you're one of the pillars of the community. And the more we can do to support you, and you get the resources you need, the more you can do your jobs and support yourself, support the communities, and keep rocking and rolling. So it's an absolute privilege and absolute pleasures.
We have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Question.
Yes.
Are we going to do eval?
No, we're going to have
Okay. So one question. Our department will be in contact. Okay. What is the best food against cancer?
Okay. This is fascinating. I've got 2 minutes. So real quick, at the end, so one of my coworkers, and I've heard this, this is anecdotal, but other people who've gone through this have said it. And if you talk with cardiologists and stuff, they will say this as well. So one of my coworkers had cancer, and when she went in to see if it had metastasized, they gave her this solution that they put in her body, and then they did this x-ray deal to see where the cancer was. That solution was a sugar solution. The reason why was because the cancer feeds on sugar. So I'm not a doctor, but if you talk to any medical professional that is legit, they will tell you unequivocally that sugar is the #1 inflammatory food you can consume. And if you are if you're dealing with cancer, if you are concerned about that, do whatever you can to minimize sugar. And I'm talking just stuff in processed packaged foods. Over 80% of packaged foods have added sugar in it. So if you cook from scratch and you're using the kind of foods that will work for you, and I give you just a snippet of examples, you won't have to go down that path. But that's serious stuff. Again, over 70% of chronic diseases are due to our lifestyle choices. And the majority is from what we put in our mouth, which is kind of a bitter pill. I don't like to eat bitter pills, but that's a bitter pill to swallow. So anyways, I can give you more if you want. Brett, if you want, reach out to me and I'll be happy to give you some more direction. We're actually in discussions with North Memorial Healthcare up in Brooklyn Park, Minneapolis. And it sounds like we're going to be doing some programs on foods to help with that. And yeah, definitely reach out to me. We don't have a specific program in place yet, but I can give you some definite support on that. You got the recipes. Frankie, you're very, very welcome. All right, folks, it's 7:30. You got to go do stuff. Go on with your lives. Please come back for the next one. Bring your friends. We just want to keep bringing this to you. We appreciate you so much. And thank you. And what is going on?
Sherry, I sent it many times.
Yes, you will get it. Yes, you will get the recipe in email tomorrow. We appreciate you so much, folks. Any questions? Reach out. Let us know what we can do to help. Have a great evening, Anthony. Our pleasure. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
See you later.